Just because one person is comfortable with their weapon doesn't mean that that gives that person the right to infringe on the rights of other people who aren't comfortable.
If you're not in law or politics, the Constitution is crystal clear. It's very simple. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Unlike in most states, in California, it's difficult to get a concealed carry license. This has led to the practice of open carry, in which some private citizens carry holstered, unloaded weapons in plain sight. And recently, some California politicians have been working to make gun laws even more restrictive.
You don't need a handgun to order a cheeseburger. You don't need a handgun to get a cup of coffee.
California Assemblyman Anthony Portantino authored Assembly Bill 144, which would ban the practice of open carry in California.
The open carry situation wastes police resources. It creates a tense situation between the law officer doing their job and the Californian openly carrying their weapon.
In fact, open carry advocate Sam Wolanek experienced just such an encounter occurring in November 2008.
I was minding my own business, and 2 patrol cars pulled into the parking lot.
Officers proceeded to perform a 12031E check to ensure that Wolanek's gun was unloaded in accordance with California law.
What these guys decided to do was pull their guns out and take me down to the ground at gunpoint. I was trying to explain to them that open carry is legal under California law, that there is no permit required. They told me a couple of times, we don't care what the law is, you can't do that.
Wolanek successfully pressed charges against the San Diego PD for unlawful arrest without reasonable suspicion. This incident led to a failed attempt by Assemblymember Lori Saldana to ban open carry back in 2010. So how do California's gun laws compare to laws in other states?
We have a system of may issue concealed weapons permits, which translates into if you haven't made a healthy contribution to the sheriff's reelection fund, you're not getting a concealed weapon permit. It's cronyism and it's corrupt, but that's how it is.
California, unlike most states, issues concealed carry permits, or CCWs, under may issue rules, meaning that the choice to issue is left up to the discretion of the sheriff in each county, as opposed to the shall issue rule, which allows anyone who passes a basic background check and skills test to obtain a weapon. UCLA law professor Eugene Volokh, creator of the popular law blog The Volokh Conspiracy, says that the complex history of guns in America has led to the strange situation in California today.
Starting with the early 1800s, many states enacted bans on concealed carry of guns. And the premise of those bans is concealed carry is a dishonorable thing. It's something that criminals do. Because really good upstanding citizens, they carry their guns out there on their hips where everybody can see them.
In fact, carrying a fully loaded firearm openly was legal in California until 1967, when Governor Ronald Reagan signed the Mulford Act, which specifically targeted Black Panthers who would patrol their neighborhoods bearing loaded rifles. And now California is set to ban all forms of open carry without at all modifying its restrictive concealed carry permitting process.
In California law, you need a license to carry a concealed weapon, you need a license to go hunt, you need a license to drive a car, but you don't need a license to carry an unloaded handgun in public, as long as it's unloaded, and that's a loophole. If the law enforcement officials are saying, you person don't qualify for a CCW, or there's issues why I shouldn't give you a CCW, why we then say to that same person, but carry your weapon anyway.
So you're saying there are a number of people in California who shouldn't be carrying guns, and this is closing that loophole?
No, I'm not saying, I'm not being the person who's deciding who should get a CCW or not. That's for the law enforcement professionals to decide.
In California, law enforcement professionals have decided to grant CCWs to 0.1% of the population. In the average shall issue state, that number is 2.9%, or 29 times higher. So is it true that open carry is a dangerous loophole that needs to be closed?
As of this moment, there have not been any deaths or injuries to my knowledge through open carry. But again, we're here to avoid the tragedy.
It is pretty clear that the predictions that, well, when you pass shall issue, there'll be blood in the streets because everybody's going to get into gunfights over every single fender bender, or even many fender benders, those have not really materialized.
Despite the lack of violence perpetrated by open carriers or CCW holders, politicians like Portantino and Saldana believe California's gun laws aren't strict enough. Although the 2010 effort resulting from Wolanic's encounter with the San Diego PD failed to pass, the 2011 Arizona shooting has created new opportunities for California's gun control proponents.
Gun control proponents believe the wounding of a congresswoman is a political game changer.
The fact that it's personal, one of their own, I think, is going to make a difference.
Don't you wish Jared Loughner had a smaller capacity ammunition clip when he went to Gabby Gifford's event in Tucson?
What's happened is, since the events in Arizona, gun issues have taken on a greater national debate and a greater significance. What that incident has brought to light is there are very real threats out there, and there's a role for law enforcement, there's a role for good judgment, and I think it makes the case for AB 144. Let's not have a proliferation of weapons on Main Street.
I'm pretty certain it's illegal to shoot Congress people in the head. It's illegal to illegally conceal a weapon on your way to commit a crime. It's illegal to own a gun with the intent of committing a crime. So we've got this guy on like at least 3 felonies already. How many more is it going to take to make him stop? The answer is it doesn't matter. If you stacked up 50,000 felonies, you're not going to stop a crazy person from doing crazy things.
It doesn't make much sense to come up with comprehensive law that is aimed at focusing on those very rare incidents as opposed to the literally thousands of times more common ordinary gun homicides.
In fact, crime rates have been falling since the early 90s, despite indications from federal background check requests that gun ownership has been steadily increasing.
If you're not in law or politics, the Constitution is crystal clear. It's very simple. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Keep and bear, own, carry in case of confrontation, handgun. It's very simple.
The Second Amendment of the Constitution allows people to defend their private property.
And that includes your person, right?
That includes your person, but when you're out in Main Street, California, we've also have sworn officers who are there to serve and protect the public. Having your gun on your hip walking down Main Street is something from a Western movie. We don't think of Main Street, California or the mall in the same way. And to try to make it be the same way, again, I think is going back in time, not forward in time.
Portantino's office expects AB 144 to pass through the state Senate in late July 2011 and be on Governor Jerry Brown's desk by early August.